Sarah sat at the kitchen table, her hands wrapped around a mug of lukewarm coffee, staring out at the backyard. The swings that had once echoed with laughter now hung still and silent, their bright colors dulled by the passing seasons. It had been 6 months since her husband Tom had passed away, yet every corner of their home held fragments of him. Mornings came slowly for Sarah, each day a reminder that she was now the sole caretaker of their 2 children, Lily and Max. With Tom gone, the weight of responsibility settled heavily on her shoulders. She felt like a juggler at a carnival, trying to keep everything balanced while her heart ached with loss. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. The days blurred together. The bills needed paying, lunches had to be made, and bedtime stories still required voices filled with enthusiasm. Despite the chaos around her, there were moments when silence wrapped itself around Sarah like a thick blanket. During those quiet times, she often thought about how Tom would have handled things or what advice he would have given. As she took a sip from her mug, she caught sight of a stack of boxes pushed against the wall in the living room. They contained things from Tom's grandmother's house, an old desk among them that had been passed down through generations. Sarah had never thought much of it. It was just an old piece of furniture until recently, when she decided to bring it into their home. "Mom, can we have pancakes?" Max's cheerful voice broke through her thoughts as he came bounding into the kitchen. "Only if you help me," Sarah replied with a forced smile, leaning into the kitchen counter as if holding herself up. Lily followed closely behind, her hair tousled and her face still smeared with sleep. "I can help," she chirped, climbing onto a stool to reach for the mixing bowl. As they began preparing breakfast together, laughter filled the space again. Sarah found comfort in these small moments with her kids. They brought her some peace amidst the storm in her heart. However, every time she looked toward that desk in the living room, something tugged at her curiosity. She had yet to explore it fully. After breakfast, as Max raced outside to play and Lily settled onto the couch with a book, Sarah finally approached the old desk. Dust gathered on its surface, like remnants of forgotten stories. She ran her fingers along its edge and admired its intricate carvings. Each swirl, crafted with care, told tales of generations past. With sudden determination, she began to clean it up. As Sarah wiped away years of grime, memories floated back to her. The stories Tom used to tell about his grandmother, sitting there writing letters or working on puzzles that seemed to challenge even the brightest minds. It felt like unlocking a treasure chest brimming with history. While polishing one side, she noticed something strange. A faint line where one part of the wood shifted slightly differently than expected. Intrigued and eager for discovery, she pressed down gently. And suddenly, there it was. A latch hidden beneath a layer of dust. Her heart raced as she thought about what could be concealed inside this secret drawer. Could it hold more family memories? Old trinkets? Perhaps something sentimental from Tom? With trembling hands, Sarah unlatched it and pulled open the drawer carefully. The darkness within reflected years of untold truths waiting just for her. She felt an odd mixture of excitement and dread bubbling beneath the surface. What if this would reveal something that would change everything? In that moment, uncertainty loomed heavily over her head, like storm clouds gathering before rain fell. Sarah inhaled deeply before reaching inside. Her fingertips brushed against faded envelopes tied together with frayed ribbon, along with assorted photographs tucked haphazardly in one corner. Could these be remnants from Tom's childhood? Letters sent between loved ones? Before she could pull them out for closer inspection, thoughts raced through her mind. What if they held secrets or truths about her husband that she wasn't meant to know? Part of her wanted to retrieve those items immediately, while another part hesitated, fearful of unearthing information that could shatter what little certainty remained in this grieving family. As she stood there alone in the dim light filtering through the window, Sarah knew one thing. Whatever waited inside this desk's hidden drawer would mark another turning point in their lives. She could feel it deep within her bones. Questions swirled like leaves caught in an autumn breeze. Only time would reveal their answers as she stood on the edge of discovery. A path that might change everything again. The old desk sat in the corner of the living room, a proud relic of the past that seemed to whisper stories of family history. Its dark wood was polished to a deep sheen, but the surface was marred in places by scratches and nicks, each one a reminder of years spent in use. The desk had once belonged to Tom's grandmother, a woman Sarah had only known through stories and faded photographs. Now, it stood as a tangible connection to that part of Tom's life, and Sarah felt drawn to it in ways she didn't fully understand. Its design was simple yet elegant, with graceful curves along the edges and sturdy legs that had weathered time remarkably well. The intricate carvings stamped along the front were delicate flowers intertwined with swirling vines, showcasing the craftsmanship of a bygone era. Sarah admired the way the details danced in the light, each curve telling a tale of patience and dedication from whoever had built it long ago. As she glanced at the desk, Sarah felt a sense of warmth mingling with her heartache. It was not merely a piece of furniture. It symbolized the love and legacy of Tom's family. She remembered how Tom would often share fond memories of his grandmother sitting there, writing letters or meticulously organizing her collection of recipes. It was as if the desk held fragments of their family's laughter, tears, and dreams, all woven into its wooden structure. Despite its age, the desk felt alive to Sarah. She could almost hear echoes of conversations that had taken place around it. The hum of family gatherings, the soft rustle of paper as letters were penned, and even the gentle thud of books being closed after a long day. All seemed to linger in the air like a sweet perfume. It was enchanting, yet bittersweet, a reminder of those cherished moments that were now forever out of reach. One day, while dusting the desk's surface, Sarah couldn't shake off the feeling that it held more than just memories. There was an energy surrounding it, a promise of secrets waiting to be unveiled. She leaned closer to examine the carvings and noticed a faint scratch running along one side. A small imperfection that seemed out of place on such an otherwise beautiful piece. Curiosity gnawed at her. What could be hidden within its depths? As she ran her fingers over the desk's smooth finish, Sarah felt a twinge of connection to her husband. In her mind, she could envision Tom working at this very desk as he completed his homework or crafted his first stories as a child. The desk had witnessed his growth, just as it now served as an anchor for their children. It felt like an heirloom that had been entrusted to her care, a responsibility she didn't take lightly. However, deep down, she also felt trepidation about what else might be concealed within its structure. Tom had always been open with her about his life, but there were parts of his family history she had never fully grasped. What if this desk held clues to those mysteries? What if it contained secrets that could change how she viewed their life together? In moments of quiet reflection, Sarah would sit at the desk with her children beside her. As she helped them with their schoolwork or read them stories, she found comfort in knowing they were creating new memories in a space that had seen so much love before. Each time they gathered around it, she felt as if they were weaving their own threads into an ever-expanding tapestry of family history. As days turned into weeks, Sarah began to see the desk not just as a physical object, but as a vessel for connection, a bridge between generations. It was becoming clear that this wasn't just about Tom's past, it was about their future as well. Each time she passed by it or cleaned its surface, she felt like a guardian of the stories encased within its wood. In all its charm and age, the old desk held both comfort and mystery for Sarah. It represented hope amid sorrow, a place where memories could flourish and new chapters could begin. Yet, with each glance at that hidden drawer, the question remained: what truths lay waiting inside? The uncertainty loomed like clouds before a storm, promising revelations that might alter everything she thought she knew about her family and herself. As Sarah carefully wiped the dust from the surface of the old desk, she felt a wave of nostalgia wash over her. Each stroke of the cloth seemed to awaken memories long tucked away in the corners of her mind. The scent of aged wood mixed with dust and a hint of polish brought her back to the times when Tom would share stories about his grandmother. He would smile, his eyes shining with warmth as he recounted her life, filled with kindness, laughter, and her endless supply of homemade treats. Tom often spoke about how his grandmother used to bake cookies on rainy afternoons. He'd describe how the kitchen would fill with the sweet aroma of vanilla and chocolate, creating an inviting atmosphere that wrapped around their family like a cozy blanket. As Sarah cleaned, she could almost hear his voice echoing in the room, teasingly mimicking his grandmother's gentle tone as he recounted how she would keep a jar full of cookies on the counter, insisting that no one should leave her home without a treat in hand. The desk became more than just furniture. It transformed into a vessel carrying whispers of Tom's childhood. With every wipe, Sarah envisioned him sitting there, doing homework or scribbling stories that sparked his imagination. She thought about how he must have felt, reading books that stacked high beside this very desk. The visual made her smile bittersweetly. It was hard to believe that the vibrant life they built together had come crashing down so abruptly. As Sarah continued dusting, her fingertips glided over the intricate carvings. The flowers and vines that adorned the front were not just beautiful. They told a story of craftsmanship and love. She recalled a time when she and Tom had visited his grandmother's house, where this desk stood proud in a sunlit corner. Tom had beamed with pride as he explained its significance, illustrating how it had been handed down through generations. Back then, it had felt like a piece of family history. But now, it was a constant reminder of everything she had lost. With every swipe of her cloth, Sarah's heart swelled with longing for those moments. She remembered how Tom would lean against her shoulder while they read stories to their children at bedtime, his laughter filling the room as they created silly voices for each character. Now, standing in silence at the desk, she felt an emptiness alongside those cherished recollections. Though she was surrounded by memories, it felt strange to touch something that belonged to someone who was no longer there. A tear slid down Sarah's cheek as she thought about the last time they had been together as a family. How they had piled onto the couch, sharing stories late into the night, bathed in soft golden light. That comfort felt so distant now, as if it belonged to another lifetime. The desk remained steadfast, a strong structure holding within it both beauty and heartache. As she cleaned, Sarah noticed little details she had missed before. Tiny scratches and imperfections told tales of moments lived fully and joyfully. It reminded her that nothing in life was perfect, yet each mark carried meaning. This desk held pieces of laughter and connection, but also fragments of sorrow and loss. She paused for a moment to take it all in. Every memory tied to the desk felt like an unbreakable thread connecting Sarah to Tom's past. It was as if she were holding his hand just by being near this cherished heirloom. In her heart, she understood that this moment was not just about cleaning. It was about reclaiming those memories and finding strength within them. In that quiet space filled with echoes of laughter and love, Sarah resolved to honor Tom's memory by creating new traditions for Lily and Max. The old desk would serve as a special place for their family storytelling, homework sessions, and memories yet to be made. Perhaps even someday, they would discover what secrets lay hidden within its walls. With renewed purpose, Sarah took a deep breath and smiled through her tears. Every swipe of the cloth felt like weaving together past and present, a tapestry rich with colors of grief, joy, love, and new beginnings. The desk stood not only as a reminder of what she had lost, but also as an invitation to embrace what could still be. A bridge between yesterday's treasured moments and tomorrow's uncharted adventures. As Sarah continued dusting the old desk, an almost magnetic pull drew her attention to a faint line along one of the edges. She leaned in closer, squinting to better see the unusual mark. The edge looked slightly different, almost as if a piece of wood had been carefully crafted to fit seamlessly with the rest of the desk, but concealed an untold secret. Intrigued, she brushed away more of the dust, revealing more of that shadowy outline. Her heart began to race as curiosity overtook her. What could be hidden inside this venerable piece of furniture? With trembling fingers, Sarah traced the faint line until she felt a small latch nestled beneath the surface, nearly camouflaged by years of wear and neglect. A rush of excitement surged through her as she understood that the desk might hold more than just memories. It might house the secrets of Tom's family, secrets that had remained wrapped in time. Biting her lip nervously, Sarah hesitated for a moment, doubt creeping into her mind. Should she open it? What if it revealed something about Tom's past that would change everything she thought she knew? After a deep breath, she whispered to herself, "You can do this." This desk was part of her family now, and any secrets it held were part of her journey too. With deliberate care, Sarah flipped the latch. To her surprise, the drawer swung open smoothly, revealing its darkened interior where dust had settled like a thin blanket. The moment she opened it, a musty smell wafted toward her, a scent that spoke of decades and stories waiting to be revealed. She paused for a heartbeat, feeling as if she were about to step through a portal into another world filled with memories long forgotten. Tentatively, Sarah peered inside the drawer. The space was deeper than she expected. Its darkness seemed to pulse with mystery. As she adjusted her gaze, she noticed objects tucked away, faded envelopes tied with frayed ribbon, and several yellowed photographs carefully stacked in one corner. Each item appeared to hold remnants of a life once lived, stories struggling to break free. Her fingers tingled with anticipation as she reached in hesitantly. As soon as her hands made contact with the envelopes, a thrill raced through her. What could they contain? Letters exchanged between family members? Possibly love notes between Tom's grandparents? Each possibility sent shivers of intrigue up her spine. She pulled out one of the envelopes, carefully untying the ribbon that kept it secure. As she did so, dust danced in the sunlight filtering through the window. A reminder that these letters had been waiting for someone to discover them. The envelope felt fragile in her hands, as though it might dissolve under her touch any second. With each second dragging on, Sarah's heart raced faster. Could this be news from long ago that shaped Tom's family? Or perhaps something that could alter how she viewed their relationship? The very idea twisted her stomach with a mix of excitement and anxiety. Taking a deep breath, She slowly opened the envelope. The yellowed paper crinkled softly as it revealed neat handwriting. The elegant scrawl captured her attention immediately. It spoke of love and longing. It was a letter penned by Tom's grandmother to someone named Henry, someone Sarah didn't recognize. Her mind raced as she scanned the pages. Time seemed to stand still as she read words filled with affection and regret. The letter spoke of dreams unfulfilled and relationships complicated by choices made long ago. Lines that resonated deeply in Sarah's own heartache and loss. Tears sprung to her eyes, not from sadness alone, but from the weight of understanding and connection to this unknown figure whom she had never met, yet felt intertwined with through shared experience. The realization hit her. These words could unlock a part of Tom's history that had been hidden from her all along, an insight into his roots and struggles. As more letters emerged from the drawer, each one illuminated snippets of family history, the triumphs and failures, love lost and connections forged against their own odds. Yet beneath it all lay echoes of pain, reminding Sarah that every family carries its stories, some joyful and others painful. Every letter seemed like a piece of an intricate puzzle that had lain dormant within that old desk for too long. As Sarah took in what lay before her, excitement mixed with fear. She saw glimpses not only into Tom's past, but also into the complexities that would shape their present and future. The secrets carried within that hidden drawer begged to be understood. But at what cost? Despite her hesitation, Sarah knew that delving into these memories could help redefine her family's narrative, while honoring Tom's legacy in ways she hadn't yet considered. With newfound determination, Sarah took a deep breath, ready to embrace whatever truths awaited her in those aged letters and photographs, aware that they could profoundly alter her understanding of love, loss, and new beginnings. With her heart racing, Sarah took a deep breath and steadied herself as she prepared to fully open the secret drawer. The latch had clicked open so smoothly, almost invitingly, but now she hesitated, the weight of the moment pressing down on her. She could feel excitement coursing through her veins, mingling with a twinge of anxiety that made her stomach flutter. What secrets lay buried within this hidden space? As she pulled the drawer open wider, the musty scent of aged paper wafted up to meet her, a smell that felt both nostalgic and foreign. It was as if she were stepping into a time capsule, where echoes of past lives lingered just beyond reach. The darkness of the drawer contrasted sharply with the sunlit room around her, adding to the sense of mystery that enveloped her. Inside, Sarah found an array of items carefully placed one atop another. Faded envelopes tied together with a delicate, worn ribbon, and an assortment of yellowed photographs that appeared as though they had captured moments frozen in time. Her fingers trembled with anticipation as she reached in, brushing aside layers of dust that had settled over these precious remnants. The first envelope felt fragile between her fingertips. It was slightly crumpled and adorned with elegant handwriting that seemed to flow effortlessly across the page. The sight of Tom's grandmother's writing sent a rush of warmth through Sarah's chest. What stories did these letters hold? She could only imagine how many emotions had been poured into those pages: joy, sorrow, love, all waiting to be uncovered. Carefully, Sarah untied the ribbon and lifted the top envelope from its resting place. She hesitated for a moment before sliding it open. The sound of paper crinkling filled the air like a whisper. As she pulled out the letter inside, her heart raced even faster, each beat echoing in her ears. The faint aroma of ink and paper greeted her like an old friend as she unfolded it gently. The words spilled forth in neat cursive, speaking of longing and memories that stretched across years. It felt intimate, almost as if Tom's grandmother were sitting beside her, sharing her heart with every word written on that page. As Sarah read deeper into the letter, she was captivated by the heartfelt emotions contained within it. The letter spoke about love lost and dreams unfulfilled. It painted a picture of a young woman who had once experienced life fully, but had also faced challenges that left scars on her heart. Each line resonated deeply with Sarah's own experiences of love and loss, creating a powerful connection across generations. Tears welled in Sarah's eyes as she processed the feelings emerging from this discovery. The letters weren't just relics. They were pieces of history woven into her family's tapestry. Threads that connected Tom's past to their present. With every word she read, Sarah felt an urge to preserve these stories, not just for herself, but for Lily and Max as well. She set aside the first letter cautiously and began to explore more within the drawer. There were photographs next, black and white images capturing faces full of life and expression from times long gone. As she handled each picture delicately, Sarah was transported to moments that could have been family gatherings bursting with laughter, solemn occasions marked by shared grief, and joyful celebrations glowing with love. One photograph caught her eye. A young couple smiling brightly at one another under an archway adorned with flowers. She recognized Tom's grandmother instantly, but struggled to identify the man beside her. He looked so full of promise and joy, a stark contrast to how Sarah had only known Tom's grandmother in later years. In a sudden rush of emotion, Sarah realized these glimpses into Tom's family history held lessons about resilience and love through trials faced over time. It struck her then how important it was not just to recall memories, but to understand them, to honor those who came before by telling their stories anew. As more letters emerged from the drawer, each revealing snippets of relationships forged in hardship and tenderness, Sarah felt both exhilarated and overwhelmed by what lay before her. These discoveries were treasures waiting to be cherished and shared, but also reminders of complexities that shaped their family dynamic. With every piece uncovered from that hidden drawer, Sarah understood that this journey into Tom's past would not only illuminate his roots, but might also offer insights into forging their future as a family. Embracing this newfound knowledge would require courage. Courage to face whatever truths awaited her while celebrating the legacy left behind. Taking a deep breath, filled with determination, Sarah resolved that these letters and photographs would find their place in their home, a testament to love enduring through time. With each revelation unfolding before her eyes, she knew that unraveling these stories would empower them all as they stepped forward into whatever tomorrow might bring. As Sarah continued to sift through the letters in the secret drawer, she felt like she was unearthing hidden treasures. Each piece of paper held a story, a piece of Tom's family legacy that had been tucked away, waiting for someone to discover it. The air was thick with anticipation as she picked up another envelope, her fingers trembling slightly at the thought of what might be inside. This envelope was different. It was larger than the others and had a distinct seal, one that resembled a family crest. Curiosity piqued. Sarah carefully opened it, her heart pounding in her chest. The contents inside felt heavier somehow, laden with significance. As she unfolded the letter, she felt an electric charge in the air around her. The handwriting was bold and confident, distinctly different from Tom's grandmother's delicate script. As she began to read the words, she noticed the letter started unusually, addressed not to a family member, but to someone named Charles. With each line, Sarah's excitement transformed into apprehension. This letter revealed deep emotions and complex relationships that unfolded beyond the boundaries of casual family stories. Dear Charles, It began. I can no longer keep this secret hidden. The truth about our past must come to light. Intrigued, yet anxious, Sarah pressed on as the words poured out. It described a love affair that transcended generations, a relationship deemed scandalous due to societal expectations at the time. The emotional weight of the letter increased with each sentence, weaving a complicated tale of passion and heartbreak. As she read further, Sarah discovered that Tom's grandmother had once been deeply in love with Charles. But their love was overshadowed by different paths laid out for them by their families. There were references to clandestine meetings and stolen moments filled with laughter and joy. The letter spoke of dreams intertwining until reality sprung into action, pulling them apart and forcing them into separate lives. Sarah's breath caught in her throat as shocking details came to light. Tom had never mentioned any of this relationship during their time together. The realization struck her hard. This historical love affair had remained hidden in whispers passed down through generations, but now lay bare before her eyes. Where did this leave Tom? How could he grow up without knowing such monumental truths about his family's past? An overwhelming wave of emotion washed over Sarah as she continued reading. The pain of longing echoed through each promise written on delicate paper, resonating deep within her own heartache after losing Tom. Would he have struggled with knowing his grandmother's past? Would he have wanted to preserve this story or conceal it forever? The last paragraph sent chills down Sarah's spine. I write this not just for you, but for our children and theirs after us, to let them know that love can flourish despite the circumstances we face. With those words, a new understanding bloomed in Sarah's heart. Love is not always straightforward. It has many layers and complexities, just like every family's story. Suddenly overwhelmed by the gravity of these revelations, Sarah folded up the letter gently as if closing a delicate flower. She knew this discovery held weight. It wasn't just about uncovering secrets, but about recognizing how those secrets echoed through time, all leading back to her own family unit now. Tears welled in her eyes. They were tears of recognition, an acknowledgement that loss could coexist with love in its most complicated forms. For a fleeting moment, Sarah felt like she was standing at a crossroads where past decisions intersected with current hopes. How could she honor both types of love while navigating her own future? The letter lingered heavily in her mind as she placed it down alongside others within the drawer. It would be essential to examine these stories more closely later on, but right now, she needed to breathe and reflect on what lay ahead. In that quiet space, filled with history and heartache, Sarah resolved that these letters would no longer be mere relics bound in time, but living stories that could educate and connect future generations of their family, exposing both pride and pain, interwoven into their legacy. With newfound determination coursing through her veins, Sarah decided it would be critical to share what she had discovered not only with Lily and Max, but also seek counsel from friends who understood the weight and beauty woven tightly into familial love. Though uncertain about what steps lay ahead regarding Tom's grandmother's secret romance, and how it would reshape everything they knew, Sarah stood ready to embrace whatever truths awaited them together as they journeyed onward into tomorrow. As Sarah sat amidst the letters and photographs in the secret drawer, the weight of the revelations began to settle heavily on her heart. The letter she had just read wasn't merely an account of a hidden romance. It was a glimpse into the complex tapestry of her husband's family, a tapestry woven with threads of love, longing, and unfulfilled dreams. The implications of Tom's grandmother's affair with Charles churned inside her like a tempest. On one hand, Sarah felt an undeniable sympathy for the woman who had navigated a world that had not been kind to her. On the other hand, there was a sense of betrayal lingering at the edges of her thoughts. How could such monumental truths have remained hidden for so long? Did Tom know anything about this? If not, why hadn't he shared it with her? With each word she reread from the letter, Sarah grappled with confusion. The depth of emotion expressed in those pages illuminated another side of Tom's grandmother. One that contradicted the warm and nurturing figure she had always known. It felt surreal to think that behind the gentle smiles and comforting hugs was a woman who had once yearned for someone else, battling societal expectations that dictated who she should love. Tom's childhood memories now took on new colors. Memories that had once been painted in vibrant hues suddenly seemed to fade into pastels tinged with shadows. How could he have grown up within this family legacy without understanding its complexities? If Tom had never spoken of his grandmother's affair, what else might he have kept hidden from her? How could such significant details escape his recounting when shaping their family's narrative? A wave of anxiety washed over Sarah as she considered how this knowledge might affect their children. What would Lily and Max think if they learned that their great-grandmother had once been entangled in a secret romance? Would they feel a sense of pride or confusion? How would this impact their understanding of love, the very foundation upon which she hoped to build their family? The thought sent shivers down her spine. She didn't want to shield them from their history, but also worried about their ability to process such tumultuous revelations. The legacies we inherit aren't always clean-cut or filled with only light and joy. Sometimes they are marred by difficult choices and painful truths. Sarah closed her eyes briefly, trying to center herself amid the turmoil. Love could be messy, that much was clear. But it was also beautiful in its complexity. She realized these letters offered rich insights into resilience shaped by life's realities. An opportunity for growth, not just for herself, but also for Lily and Max. If she chose to share these stories with them, it wouldn't be merely about recounting historical facts. It would be about encouraging open dialogues about emotions, the joys and pains intertwined in relationships across generations. It was integral that they understood love's multifaceted nature, how it could inspire great actions while also leading to profound heartache. Opening her eyes, she glanced at the other letters tucked within the drawer, each one waiting patiently to unveil another piece of their family's history. With resolve igniting within her, Sarah knew she couldn't shy away from unpacking these emotions any longer. Instead, she needed to embrace them fully. The truth unveiled in that letter stirred something deep within her, a call to action. She would honor Tom's family's legacy by being transparent with their children about both triumphs and tragedies alike, because life is rarely a straight path marked solely by happiness or sorrow. Taking another deep breath filled with purpose, Sarah committed herself to continue exploring what lay beyond those envelopes, to gather stories that might weave together lessons for Lily and Max about understanding their roots while fostering love and empathy as guiding principles. With fresh determination lining her heart, Sarah resolved that this newfound knowledge would become part of her family's narrative, a narrative enriched by acknowledging flaws and celebrating strengths born from overcoming adversity. It was time to put her fears aside, because burying truths wouldn't protect anyone. Instead, embracing them would ensure they learned from each generation's experiences, fostering connections through honesty while paving paths toward growth together. As tears glistened in her eyes once more, not out of despair but hope, Sarah smiled softly at the thought of transforming these hidden secrets into open conversations around their dinner table. After all, every family has a history worth sharing. It is simply up to us how we choose to tell it. As Sarah sat in the quiet of her living room, surrounded by the remnants of Tom's family's past, a storm of emotions raged within her. The discovery of the letter and the implications of Tom's grandmother's hidden affair had shaken her foundation. Questions spiraled around in her mind, like leaves caught in a whirlwind. How could such significant truths remain hidden? What would this mean for her children? Would sharing this knowledge honor Tom, or would it somehow distort the cherished memories they held of him? The love she had for her children battled fiercely against these fears. She wanted to protect Lily and Max from any pain that might arise from learning about their great-grandmother's tumultuous past. Yet she also recognized the importance of transparency. How could she teach them about love and resilience if she concealed parts of their history? The thought gnawed at her conscience. Could she be doing them a disservice by withholding such powerful stories? Tears threatened to spill as doubt clouded her thoughts. Would revealing the complexities of their family legacy burden her children with confusion or shame? Would they see their great-grandmother as a flawed figure instead of the comforting presence they had known? The fear of shattering the idealized image of family weighed heavily on Sarah's heart. She took a deep breath and tried to ground herself in the present. The love she felt for Lily and Max was unwavering. They were her anchor in turbulent waters. Every time she looked into their bright, innocent eyes, she was reminded of the values she wanted to instill in them: honesty, empathy, and strength. She realized that part of loving them meant preparing them for life's complexities, not just its joys. Sarah reflected on how Tom had approached life with honesty, always willing to confront difficult subjects rather than shy away from them. That principle had drawn her to him. His willingness to share his thoughts and feelings created a bond that was unbreakable. If he were still here, how would he approach this situation? Would he encourage her to share these discoveries or advise caution? The inner battle continued as guilt began to creep in. Shouldn't she strive to maintain an image of stability for her children? But then again, wouldn't burying secrets only lead to greater confusion down the line? The thought made her heart ache. How could she honor Tom's memory while ensuring that Lily and Max understood where they came from? As Sarah wiped away a tear, she felt clarity begin to seep through the fog of uncertainty. She knew that every family has layers, some beautiful and some painful, but all contribute to shaping who they are. By sharing these stories with honesty, Sarah could help her children learn about resilience and love's complexity. Taking another deep breath, Sarah resolved to frame these revelations not as burdens, but as lessons. A way for Lily and Max to understand love's depth throughout generations. Wouldn't it be better for them to know that even in moments marked by secrecy or heartbreak, love endures? Wouldn't it empower them to navigate their own relationships with a deeper understanding? With renewed strength blossoming within her chest, Sarah began imagining how she would introduce these stories during family discussions. Perhaps they could have dinner conversations centered around family history, sharing what they learned from Tom's grandmother's letters while discussing love's many facets. As night fell outside and shadows danced across the walls, Sarah felt a sense of purpose filling the space within her home. These revelations would transform into teaching moments, a way for their family story to evolve while remaining rooted in truth. She envisioned evenings filled with laughter and dialogue, exploring both light-hearted memories and heavier truths together as a family unit. In this way, they would not only celebrate Tom's memory, but also honor his grandmother's legacy by acknowledging both joy and sorrow intertwined through their lineage. In that moment, Sarah understood Facing fears didn't mean erasing them. It meant accepting them as part of life's rich tapestry. Embracing vulnerability would allow Lily and Max to grow up with a deep appreciation for their heritage, not defined solely by happiness or heartache, but by resilience forged through shared experiences. With determination lighting her path forward, Sarah smiled softly at the thought of gathering her children around the dinner table, ready to embark on this journey together, knowing that love could flourish even amidst complexities if nurtured with honesty. In the days following her discovery, Sarah found herself wrestling with the weight of the truth she had uncovered. The letters spoke volumes about Tom's grandmother's hidden life, but they also left Sarah feeling like she was standing at a crossroads. A decision lay ahead that could impact her children's understanding of their family legacy. Seeking guidance from trusted friends and family felt like a necessary step in navigating this emotional landscape. One rainy afternoon, she decided to call her longtime friend, Emily, who had always been a source of wisdom and support during difficult times. As the phone rang, Sarah felt a flutter of anxiety, but also relief at the thought of sharing her burden with someone who understood her heart. "Hey, Sarah, how are you?" Emily answered brightly. "I'm okay. Just trying to process some things," Sarah replied hesitantly. "What's on your mind?" Emily prompted gently, sensing the heaviness in Sarah's voice. With a deep breath, Sarah began to recount her recent discoveries, the hidden drawer in the desk, and the letters that revealed Tom's grandmother's affair. She spoke slowly, detailing how reading those words had shaken her sense of stability and left her grappling with what it meant for her children. As she shared her feelings of confusion and fear, she was met with an understanding silence from Emily. Finally, Emily spoke. "That sounds really tough, Sarah. Uncovering family secrets can feel overwhelming. It's perfectly okay to have mixed emotions about it." Sarah nodded, even though Emily couldn't see her. It felt good just to voice her thoughts aloud. "I want to be honest with Lily and Max about their history," she continued. "But part of me is terrified of how it will affect them. I don't want to taint their memories of their great-grandmother." "I completely understand. It's natural to worry about their reaction," Emily replied thoughtfully. "But think about it this way. Honesty can be a gift. You have the chance to teach them about resilience and love in its complex forms." After pausing for a moment, Sarah asked, "How do you think I should approach this? Should I wait for the right moment or just share everything at once?" "Maybe it doesn't need to be all at once," Emily suggested. "You could start by introducing the topic lightly. Maybe share stories about Tom's grandmother as a way to ease into the deeper truths later. Let them ask questions as they process things." The idea resonated with Sarah. It felt more manageable than diving headfirst into all the complexities at once. "That makes sense," she said slowly. It could help them understand that family histories can be both beautiful and complicated. Feeling encouraged by the conversation, they talked for a bit longer about other topics before saying their goodbyes. As Sarah hung up, she felt lighter. Sharing with Emily had clarified her thoughts while reinforcing their bond as friends. The next day, she decided to reach out to Tom's sister, Claire, a woman who had also known their grandmother well and might shed further light on family dynamics. They arranged to meet for coffee at a cozy cafe downtown, a favorite spot where they often laughed over shared memories. Once seated across from each other, Sarah shared her experiences over the past week, feeling anxious yet determined. Claire listened intently as Sarah recounted discovering the letters and explained how they left her, contemplating how best to inform Lily and Max. "Family histories are often layered," Claire acknowledged after absorbing Sarah's words. When I think about Grandma's life, I see moments of joy mixed with heartbreak. She made choices based on her time and circumstances. Sarah nodded along while Claire continued. You know your kids best. Gauge their readiness for this information. You can empower them by allowing space for discussions as they grow older. Sarah leaned back in her chair, contemplating Claire's insights. Discussing these matters with someone who knew Tom so well brought new perspectives. Being open about their heritage would allow for deeper connections to form around shared experiences as a family. After a long chat filled with both laughter and touching memories of Tom and his grandmother, Sarah left the cafe feeling renewed resolve. Clarity cut through the chaos in her mind. In the following days, she began preparing herself for conversations with Lily and Max, using what she'd gathered from both Emily and Claire's advice. She realized that embracing honesty did come with fears of vulnerability, but also offered opportunities for connection, to grow together as a family grounded in truth. As hope began to replace uncertainty within her heart, Sarah looked forward to transforming daunting revelations into meaningful lessons for them all, ensuring that love would remain central in any discussions they might have about life's complexities ahead. As days turned into nights, Sarah found herself in a constant state of reflection, weighing the decision that loomed large before her. The letters from Tom's grandmother had opened a Pandora's box of emotions and truths about her family's past. Now, she was faced with the significant question of whether to share that knowledge with Lily and Max, or keep this complex family history hidden from them. Sitting at her kitchen table, the remnants of breakfast scattered before her, Sarah ran her fingers through her hair in frustration. Her heart felt heavy. She desperately wanted to honor Tom's memory while also protecting their children from pain that they might not be ready to process. The thought of revealing their great-grandmother's affair stirred a storm of conflicting feelings within her. Am I doing them a disservice by keeping this from them? She murmured to herself, considering everything she had learned. The desire to shield them from confusion was strong. But so was the feeling that knowledge could empower them. Shouldn't they understand that every family carries its burdens and complexities? Yet the fear of shattering their idealized image of their great-grandmother weighed heavily on her heart. The kitchen clock ticked steadily as Sarah poured herself another cup of coffee, trying to steady her swirling thoughts. She had often turned to Tom during moments like these. His calm demeanor and insightful perspective would help guide her decisions. But now he was gone, leaving behind only memories and questions unresolved. Would he have wanted me to share this? She thought. In those quiet moments together, he had always stressed the importance of understanding one's roots, of embracing both the beauty and flaws that came with their family history. She imagined his voice guiding her. Life is messy, Sarah. It's those messy parts that make us who we are. Still caught in indecision, Sarah's mind drifted back to conversations with Emily and Claire, reminders of how sharing their family's narrative could forge connections rather than create barriers. But what if I overwhelm them? She whispered into the silence of the kitchen, fearing how much burden she might inadvertently place on her young children. As night crept in once more, casting shadows on blank walls, Sarah sat curled up on the couch with Lily nestled beside her reading quietly. Max played on the floor nearby with toys scattered all around him. Their innocent laughter was a balm for Sarah's troubled heart. A gentle reminder of why she needed to navigate this path thoughtfully. Suddenly, an idea sparked within her. A compromise between honesty and protection. What if she started slowly? Instead of revealing all at once or avoiding it altogether, Perhaps they could engage in conversations about family history more generally, while allowing room for deeper truths to surface as needed. Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her at this new approach. She could introduce them to stories about Tom's grandmother while highlighting love's complexity without delving into every detail immediately. This way, if questions arose regarding past choices later on, they would have already established an honest dialogue about understanding relationships. She closed her eyes for a moment and envisioned future evenings gathered around the table, sharing stories infused with laughter and lessons intertwined between generations, the way love has continuously evolved throughout their family history. Once more grounded by this newfound clarity, Sarah began crafting a plan in her mind, ways to weave together facts from those letters along with heartfelt discussions about resilience. Wouldn't it benefit Lily and Max to feel connected not just through light-hearted moments, but also through shared struggles that shaped who they are today? With resolve settling deep within her heart like anchor against stormy tides, Sarah knew that embracing vulnerability wouldn't weaken their bond, but rather strengthen it. Love could flourish amidst duality rather than survive alone among happy memories. Time passed swiftly as Sarah began formulating tangible steps for engaging Lily and Max in these conversations while allowing herself grace amid uncertainty. And most importantly, not rushing through it all simply based on fear alone. When morning broke anew over their home, filled with hope glimmering in its cracks like sunlight filtering through curtains, Sarah felt ready. A determined mother prepared to guide Lily and Max toward meaningful discussions grounded in truth. Each small step forward taken toward openness made it evident that embracing family complexities would empower them all as they journeyed together, ensuring no secrets shrouded their love, but instead illuminated paths bound by trust across generations yet to come. In the days that followed, Sarah found herself reflecting deeply on everything she had discovered, the tangled threads of her family history weaving into the fabric of her life. With each letter that passed through her hands, she felt a shift within herself, an awakening to the complexities that defined love, loss, and resilience. The weight of hidden truths was substantial, but rather than allowing these revelations to consume her, she began to see them as part of a larger story, one that connected generations together. Sarah sat one evening in her cozy living room, with a soft blanket draped across her lap. The warmth from the fireplace flickered against the shadows dancing along the walls, creating a comforting cocoon in which to ponder. On the coffee table lay the letters and photographs, remnants of Tom's grandmother's life, each one carrying whispers of emotions that had once been both fulfilling and fraught with disappointment. As she traced the faded edges of one particular letter, Sarah felt an intense surge of love for Tom. Memories flooded back, his laughter filling their home, his gentle wisdom guiding her through tough moments. It became clearer than ever that despite the complexities unveiled in those letters, what mattered most was how they had chosen to live their lives, with authenticity and love at the forefront. No matter what family secrets were revealed, the affair, the struggles, or the heartaches, Sarah felt a strong conviction that her role as a mother remained paramount. She would honor Tom's memory not just by preserving his legacy, but by embracing his values, his belief in facing life's messiness openly and honestly. Her thoughts drifted to Lily and Max. They were still young and impressionable. How could she convey these truths without overwhelming them? It struck her then that she didn't have to share everything all at once. This journey could be gradual, a series of conversations over time rather than a single revelation. Through dialogues about their family's history, She could instill in them an understanding that life is multifaceted. Beautiful moments exist alongside painful choices. Tears glimmered in her eyes as Sarah reflected on what this meant for their future. Each letter held lessons about resilience. Together, they could learn not just from pain, but from the courage it takes to live authentically. She envisioned moments gathered around their dinner table, sharing stories both joyous and poignant. A new tradition steeped in honesty and love. Remembering Tom's voice echoed softly in her mind, as if he were right beside her. "It's okay to be vulnerable, Sarah," he would say with calm assurance. "That's where strength lies." In those words, Sarah found warmth. It resonated with profound truth. Determined now more than ever, Sarah envisioned a future where love thrived amidst complexities. A place where both she and her children could grow stronger by embracing their shared history instead of shying away from it. It was essential for Lily and Max to understand their roots, to know their great-grandmother was a human being filled with dreams and regrets just like anyone else. She smiled softly as she thought about how this journey would unfold. Yes, they might stumble upon difficult discussions or face discomfort as past stories emerged into light. However, every step toward vulnerability would fortify their bond as a family. Therein lay hope, the promise of navigating life's complexities together. As night deepened outside her window, with stars sprinkling across the dark sky like silver dust, Sarah felt resolute in her choices ahead. Embracing memories of Tom infused her heart with strength. He would live on through every story shared around their table, his spirit lighting the path forward. The letters had revealed hidden truths that might have once threatened to erupt into chaos, but transformed into stepping stones for deeper connections instead. With newfound clarity settled firmly within her heart, like an anchor against turbulent seas surrounding them all, Sarah understood that by nurturing openness within herself as a mother and throughout their family, they would emerge more united than ever before. Reflectively closing her eyes for just a moment longer before resting for the night, Sarah held tightly onto this conviction. No matter what secrets lay ahead or what challenges unfolded in revealing them, love would continue to serve as their strongest foundation through every storm they might face together. As the sun began to set over their home, casting a warm, golden glow through the windows, Sarah felt a sense of peace washing over her. The journey she had undertaken in discovering her family's history was filled with challenges, yet it had also illuminated paths she never thought to explore. Wrapped in a soft blanket, with Lily and Max nearby engaged in their evening routine, Sarah reflected on everything she had learned. Not just about Tom's grandmother, but about love, resilience, and the importance of family. The letters that had once seemed daunting now appeared as threads in a rich tapestry, weaving together the lives of those who came before her. Each story held significance. Every piece of knowledge she uncovered became part of her identity and that of her children. Embracing the past, Sarah thought, is essential for building our future. This realization made her heart swell with gratitude and purpose. Looking down at the photographs and letters laid out neatly on the dining table, Sarah could envision how she would share these stories with Lily and Max. Over dinners filled with laughter and sharing, she imagined them engaging with the complexities of their family's legacy. Instead of shying away from discussions about love and heartache, they would learn about resilience and authenticity, two truths that would guide them through life. That evening, as they settled into their usual family routine, Sarah decided to begin fostering those conversations. She turned to Lily and Max, playfully asking them about their favorite stories involving family. She carefully wove in tales about Tom's grandmother, stories of laughter, love, and even the complexities that made her life rich and vibrant. With delicate anticipation, she kept an eye on their responses, observing their curiosity as they engaged with their great-grandmother's memories. "Did you know," Sarah began softly, "that Grandma had dreams just like we do?" Lily's eyes widened with interest, while Max tilted his head curiously. She experienced love in many forms. It wasn't always perfect or easy. The words resonated deep within her. Navigating those stories together became a shared journey rather than a burden to bear alone. The kids listened closely as she shared how truly human their great-grandmother was. Flawed, yet compelling, faced with choices that shaped not just her destiny, but also the family's trajectory through generations. Knowing about her life helps us understand our own, Sarah said gently, fostering a natural curiosity in them to ask questions about their shared history. Over time, they embraced the beauty of those layered stories, turning what once felt like hidden burdens into stepping stones toward deeper connections among themselves. Each revelation surfaced not only the messiness of life, but also the power of love in navigating those complexities together. With each story they shared around the table, Sarah absorbed just how important these moments were. They strengthened their bonds as a family while fostering openness anchored by trust. No longer did she view the revelations about Tom's grandmother's affair as potential threats, but rather as lessons steeped in understanding who they were as a family. As days morphed into weeks, Sarah remained grounded in her role as a mother and guardian of their family's narrative. She took every opportunity to create new traditions centered around storytelling, a way to keep Tom's memory alive alongside cherished memories of those who had come before him. Each night marked another step toward transforming challenges faced from hidden truths into empowering moments threaded with love. Her resolve hardened with each passing day. No matter what lay ahead or what uncomfortable discussions remained imminent regarding difficult histories unveiled in the letters, they would all endure together as one cohesive unit, rooted deeply within shared understanding. As bedtime approached on that memorable evening when she first shared stories inspired by Tom's grandmother's life, Sarah tucked Lily and Max into their beds, adorned with familiar blankets woven from warmth and memories. A soft smile graced her lips as she realized that despite the past's secrets now surfacing, the deep love that knitted their hearts together served always as an unbreakable foundation. In that sacred space filled with warmth and love, enveloping them all like a protective cocoon, Sarah knew they had already begun crafting a future infused with understanding, where every imperfect thread ultimately belonged, woven carefully alongside vibrant stories alive within them. Closing her eyes for just a moment before retreating to rest for the night, she held on to this conviction. Embracing their family's history meant nurturing growth within every member. Not merely surviving hardship, but flourishing amidst it all, transforming life into a canvas painted richly with love and connection for years to come.